tell me why everybody is so against naturally mined diamonds.
British detected, opinion rejected. Why is everyone so against mined diamonds? Just that glow you can't replicate in a lab without the blood and tears of children miners. Okay, for this, next part, I'm basically, quoting what she says in the video. So this is all, dead ass, basically, what she says. Who's to say these labs aren't using slave labor as well? I bet you didn't think about this, peasant. Did you know factories are also bad for the environment? As you can clearly see in this diamond mine, this is much better for the environment than a factory.
My thoughts on lab diamonds. There was a report where Al Cook of De Beers was getting interviewed, and he said margins are better on naturals now instead of what it used to be flipped, where labs were more profitable for jewelers. Know what that means for the consumer? The closer it is to margin, the more you'll save. But the biggest argument I ever seen about natural diamonds is the resale value. Because in the 40 years of my life, I have never heard a lady that's bought anywhere from half to 1.5 carat diamond ring at retail and reselling it for close or more than they paid. Usually they lose thousands of dollars. For example, look at this post. This ring retailed around $4,500 and now it's being sold for $1,400. Whoever sold that ring to that jeweler probably didn't even get $1,000 for it. Remember this necklace I showed you that's $490, 1.5 carats with these grades? Let's say it does lose 80% of its value in the next year. You're not going to lose more than $400 versus the thousands you would lose on a natural. Unless you have a very rare diamond, most diamonds aren't that rare. It is not an investment tool. Unless you're a mega rich person with those diamonds you see at Sotheby's, I wouldn't really worry about it. And I would rather buy vintage gems or diamonds. If it's a typical non-design, I would go towards lab. Honestly, that's my choice now.
I went to school for geology, got a master's in geology, and I just wanted to come on here and tell you, and I'm not trying to shame anybody, but diamonds are not precious. They're like a super common gem, and it's all a marketing campaign. And I'm sorry, but they make little kids go out and dig in diamond mines and finance people like that douche, whatever his name is, that does the rockets that explode. So if you want to buy somebody a beautiful ring, skip the diamonds. There's way more interesting and beautiful gems. Or just rocks. Rocks are cool.
The whole lab grown versus real diamonds debate to me is very dystopian and reveals something pretty interesting about capitalism. Because on a chemical and physical level, there's no difference between lab grown and blood diamonds. And yet the diamond industry is constantly talking about how lab grown diamonds are different and worthless, etc. And to an extent, they're right. Part of what makes the diamond so special is that there's only so much of it and only so many children in third world countries that you can pull out of school and force into the mines. To me, this shows that capitalists have an interest in the fetishization of labor. The whole reason technological advancement should happen is so that humans don't have to do these extremely dangerous and often unethical jobs. But when that happens, capitalists end up getting a lower ROI. Literally speaking, it's the suffering that makes the diamond more valuable.
Diamond is the biggest marketing scam. They were rare before 1860s. Then a huge diamond mine in South Africa led to the price collapse. To inflate the price artificially, the diamond monopoly, De Beers, bought nearly all the mines in the world and locked most of them. They only take a little bit a year to increase more demands. They even spent billions of dollars in marketing to educate the consumers that diamonds are forever and we need diamonds to prove our love. That is, diamonds equals forever equals love. If you don't buy diamond, you don't love me. To avoid the influence of reselling diamonds, De Beers also advocated a diamond lasts forever. First, the reselling diamond lost their market. De Beers have monopolized up to 85% of the global supply for over 100 years. They sold the public the rarity, the size of diamonds correlates how much you love someone, the standard to evaluate the price. The scam finally ended when Chinese artificial diamonds took up 90% of the world's market share. De Beers gave up their pride by starting their own artificial diamond business.
I'm looking away my mouth is. You watch the person buy diamond when he knows that next week you take down the
Because I'll tell you what, if you have any guts, pay 35 below, and we'll break the rest up, and you'll know it'll go up. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Who is making the price? You just shut up about making the you are making the prices.
So I'm saying to you, buy at a price.
I buy every month at the price of last month.
I don't know if I'm right.
I buy every month and you take it down every month.
Buy pallets at a price. Say I'm buying at 35 below, and we'll go up. I don't know what you're selling.
The natural diamond market is over. If this were about 15 years ago and these were natural diamonds, this would have well over $15 million in retail in my hand right now. And because of the lab market, I'm able to own all of these stones for not only a fraction, but a fraction of a percentage of the retail value. The largest stone here is an emerald cut 12 karat, and the smallest is somewhere in the 3 karat range, and it's a fancy vivid blue diamond, which is that oval right there. That oval alone would be about a $2 million diamond if it were natural. This fancy vivid blue here would be easily $1 to $1.5 million per carat, and that's a 5 karat stone. If these were natural stones, I never in my lifetime would have the ability to play with them the way I'm doing right now. I would never have the ability to sell them to my clients. I would never have the ability to even touch most of these stones in my life. And frankly, I think that's very special. That's something very special that lab-grown diamonds are allowing people to do. They're allowing people to play with stones that are not accessible for 99.99% of the world.
I know that violence is not the answer, but yes, it is.
Blood diamonds. The term blood diamonds was first coined in the late 1990s, referred to a diamond that is mined in war zones and sold to finance armed conflicts against governments. The sale of blood diamond has been responsible for funding brutal conflicts in Africa, sometimes referred as Africa's World War. The diamond trade has been used to fund warlords and militias who have committed atrocities against civilian populations. And revelations that some fashion brands and jewelers were buying and selling them sparked outrage and calls for greater transparency and accountability in the industry. In response, the diamond industry established the Kimberley Process, or KPCS, an international certification system designed to prevent the trade of blood diamonds, which aims to certify diamonds as conflict-free before they are sold. So the next time when you plan to buy a diamond, make sure that it sparkles with free, not conflict.
Stitches are broken, so I'm doing a green screen. I'll tag Slow Factory in the comment. There's a lot of information here in their post about how the diamond industry helps fund the IOF. Most of it is through tax payments, tax dollars, about $1 billion annually, which, let's be real, the US gives way more than that, and I'm definitely focusing on that. But if this is an issue that you care about and you buy jewelry, what do you even do with all this knowledge? I saw many folks on Slow Factory's post on the other app saying, well, let's just all stop buying diamonds, solves the problem. But it's not so simple. If somehow all consumers actually did stop buying diamonds, this would just disenfranchise artisanal miners, who are just individuals who depend on mining diamonds for their livelihoods. So again, if this is an issue you care about and you buy jewelry, what you should actually be doing is asking tough questions when you are considering buying a piece of jewelry with a diamond in it. And you should be prepared to step away from a sale if a jeweler can't answer questions about not only where the diamond was mined, but where it was manufactured or cut and polished. And you'll have to do this a lot because most jewelers won't be able to tell you that. But the more that you as a consumer demand this transparency and make it a condition for your purchase of a jewelry piece, the more it pushes the industry in a better direction, and companies won't be able to hide behind these opaque supply chains anymore.
There's a reason that God gave diamonds to the poorest people in the world and made the richest desire them. Bridging that gap, I mean, that's what the diamond industry is about. Bridging that gap, that's tikkun olam, that's fixing the world. And that's why we have a diamond industry. Moving that money from the richest people to the poorest people, and that is tikkun olam, that is fixing the world.
What about blood diamonds? Are they over or are they still digging them up?
Look, Africa will never be free because of what you have. You understand? Because what you have, the blessing that you have, it's also on the same time like a curse, because on the same time, everybody want to get it, but in a very illegal way. So they're trying to finance the rebel groups to make trouble in the area, to get the people from the village leave the area, and then for them to steal our minerals. So I can even say even the UN, which is there claiming to make peace, they are really there to steal our minerals.
Diamonds are either mined by children in war-torn countries or made in a lab.
I think about this all the time when buying crystals, right? This man just said, isn't it crazy how diamonds are either mined by children in war-torn countries or made in a lab? And some people really have arguments about which ones you should buy.
Here is not easy at all. They are well guarded to prevent external interference. What we managed to document with our cameras, however, is not easy to describe in words. Around us, there are very young children who are forced to help their parents search for diamonds. The number of children is very high because families prefer to keep everything they find within the family. If they had to pay a worker, they would have to split the day's earnings with people outside the family. But instead, unfortunately, if they get help from the children, and as you can see, even the little ones, all the earnings stay in the family, and they can eat more and have a slightly better standard of living. Under the scorching sun, they carry heavy sacks of gravel all day long to other children, often their own siblings, who will sift it in search of diamonds. It's interesting to know that this land actually belongs to no one, because it's the waste from large multinational industries that have exploited this land for years and then abandoned it. Once abandoned, however, all the locals or the illegal workers come here to re-sift on this land and search for the tiniest speck of diamond or gold that might be here, which can feed them for a day.
I work in the mines because I'm an orphan. I lost both my parents. I have no other options. But I'm sure I'll find a diamond and go back to school to study.
How do you feel when you find a diamond?
I feel happy.
Do you feel happy?
Yes, because when we find a diamond, it means we have money to eat. I work with my aunt. My mother is at home sick. I do everything to help her. In the morning, I go to the mines and I carry sacks, wash the gravel, and if I find a diamond, I sell it and give the money to my mother to buy medicine.
Children grow up inside these mines, and the older they get, the more they understand where those diamonds they search for end up.
Every diamond we find is for the whites. The whites know the value of the diamond better than us, and they are the ones who enjoy the diamonds.
It's interesting to know that this land actually belongs to no one, because it's the waste from large multinational industries that have exploited this land for years and then abandoned it. Once abandoned, however, all the locals come here to re-sift on this land and search for the tiniest speck of diamond or gold that might be here, which can feed them for a day.
We work every day under the sun to carry the gravel to be washed. Sometimes, if we're lucky, when we find a diamond, I sell it to feed my children. It's a difficult situation. My children don't deserve this. When we are submerged here all day, it's not good because when they get home in the evening, they start to feel cold, and I have to rush to find medicine for them.
Faced with all these children working under the sun, I don't have the courage to complain. But I assure you, the conditions are extreme. It must be 40 degrees. It's 3 in the afternoon, and these children work without stopping.
I don't think it's a job for children. Because if you work all day in the mines, you can't go to school. And if you keep going, that will be the only thing you'll know how to do. But many die there.
You could die before your time.
The sacks are too heavy, and we carry them long distances. From where we load the gravel to where we empty it, there's a lot of ground to cover. I have to work in the mine to survive, otherwise I have nothing to eat at home if I don't go.
Under the scorching sun, they carry heavy sacks of gravel all day long to other children, often their own siblings, who will sift it in search of diamonds.